So, Sue, I see that you are here. Can you give me a thumbs up if you can see me and if we are in fact live? Okay, she's saying hi. So, yes, we're live. So, thanks for letting me know you can see me. I can see you as well in the chat. So, I have some strategies to share today, but also if you have any questions, please do put them in the chat and I will be able to see them. So, thanks again for being here. One of the biggest mistakes people make is that they start their videos and they don't cut off the beginning. So, hi, Sue, and hi, Royce. So, if you pick up our phone and then, we hit record or we have it on a tripod and we hit record. And then as we're getting ready to speak, okay, so that's like 3, 4, 5 seconds going. And when someone clicks on your video and they see that, they're likely to just keep scrolling. So what do you do about that? It's a very simple fix. Now you can record your videos on TikTok, on Instagram, on your phone. I record pretty much all of my videos on my phone and then I edit them in CapCut, but I record them and you can take off the very beginning of your videos right on your phone. So it's very simple to just cut off those first few seconds on your phone because, again, if somebody clicks on your video and they see you kind of and you're looking around and then you're getting and you start talking, they're liable to scroll on. The second thing, and I get some pushback on this, but stop saying your name. When you start your video, and I see this all the time, hi, my name is Annette Richmond and my company is Black Dog Mark, and nobody cares. Okay. So nobody really cares. They want to know, is your video relevant to them? And yes, I get that, but it's the same idea about people don't care what you look like or sound like. They don't care about your name. If they really want to know your name, if you're on LinkedIn, they go to your profile, Substack, go to your profile, whatever platform you're on, they can just go to your profile. Now, if you feel that you absolutely must say your name, do it at the end of your video. So if I'm talking about video and I'm sharing how to be comfortable on camera, and then at the end, I could just say, thanks, I'm Annette Richmond. My company is Black Dog Marketing Strategies, and then share a little something about that. And again, I see this a lot, and usually it's on longer videos that are sort of the landscape that people are putting on YouTube and they share on LinkedIn. A lot of them are friends of mine. And yes, if you have a video that's going on for 5 or 6 minutes, starting with your name is one thing. But if you're starting with your name and your video is 30 seconds, people don't want to hear that. So congratulations, Sue, that you are now getting good at clipping the beginning and the end. And again, thanks for being here with me. If you have questions, please put them in the chat because unlike LinkedIn where people jump on and they sit here for an hour, I'm going to go for as long as either I have stuff to say or I have questions to answer in the chat. So again, you have me here. Please feel free to ask me any questions. So the third thing that I want to mention, and again, this is the beginning part, not saying your name, but you can tell them what they're getting. And I think anyone who has studied writing or studied presentations, that they often say, tell people what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. And so that can be a format for a video as well, as long as you don't get carried away. So I can start my video and say, today I'm going to share how to clip the beginning off your video. Or today I'm going to share 3 ways to be more comfortable on camera. And I have learned that from my video coach, because I'm a big believer in learning more and getting better at my craft. So I have a video coach myself. But if you tell people what you're going to tell them, it lets people self-select out. Now, with that in mind, if I have a video and it starts and I say, hi, today I'm going to tell you how to style your hair. Well, people probably are not that interested in that because they're looking at me to learn about video. But I will say, just a hit to the side, that one of my favorite video tools is actually my Shark hair dryer because it dries all this hair in like 4 minutes. So that's just a little extra non-video tip. As well as cutting off the beginning and the end, Sue, this is kind of for you. Make sure that you clip out the pauses, because we all naturally pause. And when I'm recording my podcast, I record it on my desktop using Riverside. And one of the reasons I love them is they have this no fluff feature. Obviously they cut out pauses and all that. They have a no fluff feature. So if you make a mistake, it will mark all of those and you can clip them out easily. But back to stopping, cutting out the pauses. So if I'm talking, and Royce actually was recently on my podcast, and he was saying on radio, if you're speaking, you can pause for effect. And that is a speaker, and as I learned from him, a radio host strategy. If you're creating short form videos, you don't want to use that strategy. You want to clip out those pauses in between. Because if I stop talking and then I'm pausing, maybe I'm even taking a sip of water, people are gone. Okay. So ideally, you go in and you split right after you stop speaking. And at the other end, you split just as you're opening your mouth. And that way, if I clip where I'm like this, speak, as soon as it starts, I'm going to be speaking. And that will make your video go much, much quicker. So I love to see people chatting in the chat. So cool. So, you just want to not give people a reason to scroll. A friend of mine used to always say with resumes and LinkedIn profiles, etc., that you want to eliminate the no. So when you're doing your LinkedIn profile, you want to eliminate the no. You want to eliminate anything that's going to make people say, no, that person's not for me. Unless obviously they're self-selecting away from you, because I'm not for everyone. I have a t-shirt that actually says that. But you don't want them to scroll away from you because you are pausing. And when I clip the pauses out, and a lot of times it might be because I've made a mistake and I'm pausing and then I'm repeating it, you want to make sure to always clip out those pauses. And one of the things I want to talk about too, and I think most people know this, the idea of captioning, caption. Okay. Yes. I love that. Okay. Good for you saying facile. Yes. So we're all kind of, I think we're all kind of writers here, me here and you all out there in the audience, my little audience chatting away with each other. So captions are extremely important. And I also recommend that you hard code captions on your videos. Now, I know LinkedIn, if you post videos, auto captions will be generated. You have to click on them sometimes to get them working. But I always say to hard code your captions in. That way, they're reading the way you want them to. Everything is spelled correctly. One of the things I was talking about this morning when I was recording my podcast and talking about Whisper Flow, which is a platform that I just recently started using, and I rely on it so heavily. It's a platform, an app that you can use to dictate, and it will dictate pretty much anywhere across various platforms. And it spells way better than I do, which is one of the reasons I like it, because I'm a bad speller. So you want to make sure your captions are spelled correctly. And I think we've all heard the idea of inclusivity, inclusivity. And I talk about this sometimes when I'm doing presentations, that for some people, yes, they want to be inclusive just to be inclusive. Some people don't think about it in that way. So Things like DEI are important to me. People like me, not so much to everyone. But my point is, according to some recent data, and I just looked this up before I went live today, the recent data is about 3.6% of people. That's 11 million people in the United States consider themselves either deaf, or very hard of hearing. And, I have a couple of friends that do struggle, with different hearing issues. I never knew it about either of them until they told me. So you may have people that certainly people that might be watching your videos that are having trouble hearing. And so you want to make sure you're not excluding, those potential 11 million people from watching your videos. So the thing is too, if you still don't care about that, you have to remember that multiple studies have shown that a majority of people watch videos with the sound off. Okay, so they might be sitting in their living room watching TV. I know I do that sometimes if I'm watching a show and I'm not as interested as my husband. So maybe I'm kind of scrolling, TikTok and watching videos, have the sound off. And then you have to think about all the people that are probably watching their videos on their smartphone at work. So no, they don't. I guess it's not live. No, it's not live caption. But the thing is with Substack Live, one thing that I will tell you, Sue, since you bring this up, is Substack Live, unlike LinkedIn, I think we're used to doing LinkedIn Lives. I did them every week for several years. Several of my friends did as well. And captions are on and they stay on LinkedIn. With Substack Lives, they do not stay and live on Substack unless you want them to. So once this is over, it will go into my drafts and it will sit there until I decide if I wish to publish it or not. And then it will have captions, etc., on it. So, yeah, interesting. I don't know if there's, maybe if you're watching it on the desktop, there's an opportunity. I'm not sure because I'm actually live video on my phone and I can see the chat on the front of my phone, much as if I was doing a TikTok live, but I'm also looking at the chat on my desktop. So I'm seeing that as well. Okay. So we're learning something here together. So this is kind of what I wanted to share today, just some tips, and I'm planning on possibly editing this a little bit because that's another thing with Substack Lives. You can do a little clipping here and there on the app before you publish, if you do choose to publish. So while we're here together, let me know if you have any questions. Desktop. Okay. Interesting. Now, I tried to schedule this and have it come through on my desktop, which I've done before, but for some reason didn't work today. So luckily I had my phone all set up and ready to go. So I'm giving you the final countdown for questions. Thanks so much for joining me. It's really nice. One of the things about LinkedIn Lives is they have become something for many people that nobody comes anymore. And I think that's why we're seeing some less of them. So I will give you one more shout out. Any questions? I'm here waiting. If not, I am going to sign off and say goodbye. No questions. Okay. Well, I hope that you picked up a couple of tips. Thanks again for being here with me today. And I will see you around. And also, I'll be posting this for anyone else who might want to pick up a tip or two. So, bye.